Hello. Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, good morning. Welcome to another market open stream, and welcome back from Thanksgiving week. But today, of course, let's talk about what's happening this morning and this repeat pattern that Bitcoin is following. Is it good or not so good? And also some FTX news. I know you guys love to hear more about FTX. So let's get started. Welcome. Good morning, guys. So as you can see, U.S. market a little red this morning. So is this going to set the mood for the rest of this week? Well, we do have a lot of economic data. That's coming out, including a PCI inflation reading, but also payroll and a whole lot more. There's not unemployment. GDP is also coming out. So there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. I think it's early to make that call that the rest of this week is going to be red. But the reason why it's red today supposedly is due to the protests in China. So China and President Xi is really, they're butting heads right now because the president wants basically a zero COVID policy. And when you have 1.3 billion people, it's kind of hard to make that happen. So again, there's some deaths due to COVID. So there's talks about more shutdowns and more quarantine, and the people from Shanghai and other cities are fed up with it. So they protested over the weekend, and that's what's happening right now. Market bell. Not working this morning. Oh, there we go. So because of it, the global markets are affected and little red. I think the reason being because, of course, China is a major exporter. A lot of the supply chain issues we've had over the last few years is due to China's COVID lockdown and quarantine, and we certainly don't need more of that. But I don't know if this is going to do anything. Most likely not. But that's the reason why we're a little red this morning, and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, though, a lot of people still shopping. Black Friday, I think the official numbers are around 9 billion. And Cyber Monday, which is actually today. I didn't know Black Friday was a worldwide thing. I don't know if Cyber Monday is also a worldwide thing. Maybe it is, but it's anticipated it's going to bring record sales, 11.2 billion. That's just in the U.S. alone. So we'll see if this is accurate. So yeah, so there's a lot of people still spending money, not at the stores, but online certainly. But moving on to some crypto news. What's going on with crypto? Well, there was some questions about whether or not Binance, what they're doing with this $2 billion, whether or not they were trying to shift things around. People were a little bit scared about whether or not their proof of reserves was good, right? It's this $2 billion. And then CZ chimed in and said, actually, they moved it to prove that it's theirs, that the auditors actually question whether or not they own that original address, which is why they've been shifting it around. So that's good. I mean, it's kind of hard to prove if you're an owner of address other than to just move the funds, right? But man, just imagine if you had to move $2 billion from one of your wallets to a new wallet, that's just scary. When I have to transfer between one wallet to another, I do a small test amount before sending the whole thing. But man, imagine sending $2 billion worth of Bitcoin and somehow messing up on the address. That would be absolutely disastrous. But anyways, moving on. As for the holders, they continue to increase. The shrimp, here's measuring the shrimps. Basically, anyone with less than 1 Bitcoin, up to 1 Bitcoin. You can see on the right-hand side. It's hard to see, but it's skyrocketing. It's skyrocketing right now. And same thing with the crabs, which is anywhere from 0.1 all the way up to 10. And again, look on the right side, skyrocketing, right? So this is all very positive, and it could be because people are recognizing that we are repeating, okay? And this is the main thing I want to talk about. You look at what happened prior from 2015 all the way up to 2017, right? We had pretty good uptrend, 1,064 days. Then we had a downtrend about 364 days, right around a year. And then we had another uptrend. Even though during that time when we had an uptrend, it seemed like we were not moving and kind of going sideways and doing nothing, right? But it was part of the next uptrend, which exactly stopped at 1,064 days. Interesting. And guess what? Today we are the 364 day of downtrend according to this. So is history repeating? And if so, that would mean this is a fantastic thing. That means this is the time to be stocking up. Just like the last time when the bottom was found, we hovered there for months upon months before we started heading up. And it could be the same way now, right? But again, sometimes you notice these things, and these patterns are pretty apparent. You know, every cycle we go through some bad things. Bad actors come out, right? If you think FTX was the only bad actor, well, think again. Back in 2015, Bitfinex suffered a huge hack. It's the same thing. If you look at 2015 to right now to 2022, it's pretty similar. Bitfinex had a huge hack, one of the big exchanges back in 2015, and they actually had to create tokens to kind of supplement their liquidity, and they survived. But, you know, throughout Bitcoin's history, there has been many bad actors and exchanges that has gone belly up. Let's not forget Mt. Gox, the very first and biggest Bitcoin exchange that had a huge hack, went under. We have Bitfinex, and we had many others throughout time, throughout history, right? And Bitcoin just ignores it, picks itself back up, and continues forward. That's just how Bitcoin is. This is why we're in it. We know we'll get through it. We know things will get better, but there'll be times where it's scary. The best way to think about it is these are the times that you want to DCA and stock up and continue to hold while others are panic selling. All right, and then here's something else too. Just looking at, if you're looking at a halving event and how that plays a role in Bitcoin's ups and downs, right? We're 64% till the next halving event. And you look at it, just like the previous chart, 64% is basically marking the bottom. So every single cycle, when you're 64% till the next cycle, look at what happens. We find a bottom and we continue to trend higher. And this happened past 2 cycles, and we're at that 64%. We're not that far off from the next halving event. So again, history is repeating. All right, so good things about Bitcoin. What else is there? Well, some FTX news. Yesterday, there was a pre-recorded video that was put out from the Attorney General and also Senator of the Bahamas, and they defended the way they reacted to FTX fallout in terms of just demanding them to send like $500 million to them, and they didn't like how the new CEO misrepresented what they did. This is according to this person, and basically said that, yeah, we did what we did because we felt like that was the only way to protect ourselves, but we're not going to share any more information in terms of what we're going to do with those funds. See, that's the thing. That makes it even worse, because the bankruptcy hearing in the U.S., basically now they have to report there's another like $500 million hole that they can't account for it because basically the Bahamans took it. It sounds like that's what's happening. But, you know, they didn't just take it for themselves. They're supposed to be giving it out to the creditors and stuff like that. But the whole thing is kind of weird because FTX was a company based in the Bahamas, not in the U.S. Yet FTX decided to file bankruptcy hearing in the U.S. Does the U.S. have jurisdiction over Bahamas in terms of the assets and stuff? The answer is no. So I don't know. This just complicates things, right? This really complicates things. So I don't know, you know, I don't know what's going to happen with this $500 million. But also, this person right here also pointing fingers at Binance, pointing a finger at CZ, saying that the bank run only happened because CZ publicly declared he was going to sell his FTT stake, which is true, but also, if FTX had enough and didn't have any problems with their balance sheet, if Caroline and Alameda didn't lose $8 billion, well, that bank run would not have ended in bankruptcy, right? So you can't just blame CZ for that. CZ kind of knew what was going on, was fed up with it, and said, hey, enough is enough. But you can't say, well, it's all due to CZ. So again, I don't know if he's doing that just to kind of, you know, divert blame away from FTX, trying to make themselves look good, like, oh, we vetted a company and we thought it was fine, but you know, CZ was the one that brought him down. I think there's a little bit of that, but CZ was caught off guard. he didn't know that he was going to get thrown under a bus because of it. But anyways, yeah, so that's the latest with FTX. Also, supposedly FTX was so desperate for money, they approached the banks and offered them up to 12% in interest if they just deposit their cash in FTX, right? Luckily, the banks were smarter than that and didn't deposit anything. Otherwise, it would be all gone. So that's how desperate things are. And you guys know I do have I posted a video about BitBoy down there, and he's trying to do his thing. I don't know what it's going to do, but supposedly, I don't know if he's talked to this guy, and you know, he's talking with the authorities, and he's camping down there trying to get SBF to talk. I don't know if it's going to result in anything, but he is down there trying to get to the bottom of things. All right, and then outside of this, what else? I don't know. Another exchange, Coinbase, trying to bolster their European expansion. Coinbase is still the biggest, most regulated exchange in the U.S. And, you know, they seem to be doing fine right now, although there was a lot of fear, a lot of Bitcoins taken away from Coinbase, but they seem to be doing fine. A lot of Bitcoins being taken away everywhere. And that's, again, I've been saying this, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You take Bitcoin off the exchanges, right? That means the supply is decreasing. More and more people are learning about how to basically self-custody their own crypto. These are fantastic things. These are fantastic things. And then lastly, Doge. I think they're down a little bit from their peak, but a lot of people have been asking about why Doge is going up. Well, it's because of Twitter and Elon's speculation that Doge could be the main payment within this new Twitter 2.0 speculation. We don't know, but I've been saying Doge is going to be carried by Elon, and everyone's waiting to see what he does next. Yeah. Fascinating stuff. As for Bitcoin, well, it's okay. It's down a little bit from yesterday, 16,200, so about $175 less than yesterday. Looks like it's bounced off one of its, you know, recent support levels, and it's kind of holding there. Today, I think definitely some fears about this COVID lockdown / protest from China, but you could see things are starting to recover a little bit already since market bell opened, so could be short-lived. All right, that is what's going on this morning. Let's do some Q&A. Tobes, I think that's how you say it. Tobes. Why do you think there's so much Binance CZ hate out there? I've never seen FUD against Binance as bad as it is since FTX. Actually, I honestly disagree with you. First of all, I don't think there's that much hate against Binance CZ right now. At least not according to what I've seen. And most of Twitter is still pretty... first of all, I got to backtrack. You can't judge everything by what's going on Twitter. Twitter is just full of... It's the one platform that's just really full of haters and trolls, and people just like love to hate on Twitter because everyone thinks they're so important and they have to chime in at everything, and they think that they're basically buying clout basically. So first of all, you can't judge real sentiment based on Twitter alone. Second of all, if you were around since 2017, 18, 19, and 20, the hate that CZ had was a lot more, because everyone hated how big Binance was getting, and people were fearful about him. So I think the hate from before was much more. And right now, I think more people have come to realize that CZ is a patient man. He hasn't done any of the wild things that some of these other leaders have done. Didn't risk it, didn't try to go big by buying Super Bowl ads or buying sports teams and stuff like that. He's been just behind the scenes doing what he can. Let's see here. Scrolling up. Will community validators on A0 affects price? I don't know. I don't even know what project that is, Lucid, to be honest. Ray says we're plankton. My cousin Danny panic sold. Well, if he's new, there's still a lot of new people that don't quite understand and don't believe, and it's understandable they would panic sell, right? So we do what we can to educate. Let's see here. CZ and Michael Saylor is the dream team. I would say that, although I'm not sure Michael Saylor would be a fan of CZ, because he has doubled down on his, Bitcoin, there's only one Bitcoin stance, right? He has really turned Bitcoin maxi, so I'm not sure he's actually going to be a fan of CZ. I think the space is definitely large enough for not just one. And plus, like I've always said, Bitcoin, in my opinion, doesn't compete with anything else. It should not be threatened by anyone else. That's the thing. I feel like a lot of Bitcoin maxis, it's fine if you want to be Bitcoin maxi. It's fine if you want to hold Bitcoin, right? But to attack everything else almost makes Bitcoin maxis look desperate, because Bitcoin is not threatened by Ethereum. It's not threatened by BNB or XRP or Doge. They're not even on the same level. They're not in the same category. So I don't even know why Bitcoin maxis has to be on attack, because it almost seems like they're desperate to protect Bitcoin. You don't need to protect Bitcoin. Bitcoin is Bitcoin. Nothing else is a store of value like Bitcoin, right? So that's also the thing that I think it doesn't make quite a lot of sense. Stuart, you think Nexus Pad protocol will keep going parabolic in the bear market now they have Superform or Superform? Stuart, I have no idea. I don't know anything about that project, so I don't know. NMCT, I'm a whole coiner, but it's 80% of my crypto holdings. Should I sell some and start DCAing to others? You decide. You decide. But there's nothing wrong with going 80% Bitcoin or even 100% Bitcoin. It's up to you. But I do think that some altcoins in your portfolio will definitely help especially when we head upwards. What else? Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. Top 3 alts to DCA besides ETH. Well, I like Polygon a lot, so I'll say that right away. I think Cardano still has promise, and there's a lot of others. I don't know what's another top, but even Doge, I'm interested to see what Elon does with it. So even Doge, and there's many others. Avalanche, VeChain, Phantom, Algorand. I mean, there's a lot out there. Marius, welcome. Public notice, thank you. Have I gotten my hands on Toyota Crown yet? No. And I don't want to really review that car, to be honest. It's going to be a big failure. No one's looking for big, heavy sedans anymore. I think Toyota... I don't even know why Toyota's trying to push the Crown. It's going to be a huge flop, I'll tell you that. Good data had a spike yesterday. What's up with that? Nothing. There's nothing from that. Sometimes things just go up because it's oversold. Decrypto, I just answered your question about top 3 to DCA into. Seems like Doge has been pumped these last 2 times before markets are slaughtered. Otherwise, Doge would be like 2 cents. Yeah, it goes up and down really quick because obviously FOMO drives Doge. Right now, the FOMO is, of course, there because of this Twitter revamp, Twitter 2.0 by Elon, right? Seems like they're going to roll out the new check mark soon. But what I'm thinking is he's working on, first of all, it was already rumored that Twitter was working on some kind of wallet. So he's going to continue that. I think for sure, if there's a wallet, it will be integrated with Doge. Whether or not he makes Doge the official payment of Twitter in the future, I don't know. But there's going to be something there with Doge. That's for sure. Yes, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but I did cover how they did move to, maybe this is what you're referring to. They moved this because, yeah, it is exactly $127, because they needed to prove that the address was actually theirs. That's why they did it. When can I unstake my Ethereum from Binance US? It says up to a year. Yeah, Charles, it warned you beforehand. Every exchange warned you. You can't unstake ETH until their next upgrade, which is 6 to 12 months from now. So, Charles, you should have paid attention. But I know when I tried to do it, it told me that you can't unstake until the next upgrade. But that's just how it is right now. Not just with Binance, but with every wallet, every exchange out there. Chad, you didn't unstake from Coinbase. You probably got a synthetic Ethereum, CB ETH, which they do offer, but I don't think you actually unstaked it. Yeah, overall, I agree with David. It's okay to be staked in there. I mean, ETH is so low right now. It's a good way to help people hodl. Obviously, if you want to sell it and trade it for something else, that's a different story. But in terms of just holding on ETH, I think It's pretty good. ETH is deflationary right now. People don't realize that. And it will become more deflationary as the market trends higher. As volume picks up again, it's going to be super deflationary. Right now, it's just kind of borderline. Have I heard of Digibyte? Yes. Not a big fan of it. Nebraska. Okay. Alex, George, can we go over your Lux algo? What do you want to know? So I'm just displaying it for now. Let's see how good it is. You know, just testing it out. But currently, this indicator from Lux is basically showing the order books and a couple support levels, and you could see this on all time frames. But obviously, there's a good amount right here around the 15.5, 15.6 mark. There's a good amount of support here, more buys than sells right around here, about the 16.1, 16.2, right? So we kind of bounced off of here. The next one is where we were, about 16.6. We had a hard time breaking out of here, right? You could see the red. There's a lot more sell pressure here. So that is the reason why we weren't able to break it. Seems like the bears, again, are clamping down, trying to make sure that we don't go above this trend line, right? We're kind of getting close again. We broke through not too long ago, and then we kind of broke downwards after FTX. But once we break through here again, it could be good. But that's what's looking like right now. Whatever happened to your Las Vegas party? Every time I have it, things start going down or plan for it. So I have to plan for a year where it's just like, it's not a good year or a bad year, right? So I don't know, maybe it ended 2023, something like that. Started 2024. The last 2 times I tried to plan it, things started going down, the worst time. Dave. People keep asking, why did Cadena shoot up yesterday? No reason. It just shot up because it's oversold. Yesterday was a good day. A lot of things went up. Here's the thing that a lot of you guys, I don't know, you know, you may be new and you think that if something shoots up, something amazingly happened and you have to get an explanation for it. Here's the thing. A lot of times there's no explanation. It's just someone that bought a huge amount and said, hey, this is a good time to buy, and it causes others to FOMO in, and that's quite simply it. You don't have to look for an explanation. If you like Cadena, then you should stick with it. You shouldn't want to buy more because it's all of a sudden pumped up. You should be buying more when it didn't move, when it didn't pump, right? That's the thing. So unfortunately, the FOMO mentality is always there. People wait for some kind of confirmation or a big pump before they get in. That shouldn't work. It shouldn't work like that. You should be buying when it dumps. When there's a big dump, that's when you should be buying, not when there's a big pump. Jose says, I have 76 ETH staked. Okay. Good for you. Aptos. No, I never liked them. Too overhyped. Too overhyped, and they have that FTX connection. I'm not a fan. Not a fan of that. And plus, they have a Facebook connection, too. So, not a fan of that as well. What is the next event to look forward to? Fed meeting or something? There's a lot of stuff happening this week in the in the U.S. A lot of economic data. Ooh, look at this. Apple shares starting to slip on report. iPhone production taking a hit, right? So yeah, a lot of the manufacturers from China probably not getting as much production as before. But yeah, we have GDP number. We have a lot of a lot of economic data. We get a PCE inflation report. That's Thursday. A lot of payroll reports, ADP, report, jobless claim report. This week is full of reports. Nothing today, but I think it starts tomorrow. We're going to get a lot of these reports. So it could definitely move the markets in a big way. So I guess we'll see. Bears won't turn into bull until grayscale. I don't even know what that means. Ramil says my email got hacked and a hacker was able to steal my CB and USDC. He linked his bank to steal the funds but forgot to remove it. I regained control, purchased my USDB back but hasn't cleared. Ramil, first of all, I think you're saying that they hacked it because they did a password recovery of your Coinbase account. Okay, here's a general rule. Whenever you have funds on any exchange, okay, you got to turn on two-factor authentication, and you don't want to use email as your two-factor. For that very reason, your email could get hacked, and they could do a password recovery and take over. I didn't even think that Coinbase allows that anymore. But if you have a Coinbase account or a Binance account or a Kraken account or any account that you don't have two-factor authentication, do it immediately. Download like Google Authenticator or Authy app, right? Put on your phone and use that as an authentication method. Because then, without it, no one else could get in. There's just no way they can bypass that. But they could always do a password recovery if they hack your email, which has been known to happen all the time. Also, don't use text because you could be SIM swapped. Okay, people could swap your SIM card out. So now all of a sudden you look at your phone, you don't have service because they took your number. And then with that, they could also do password recovery, say to text. So don't have text as your two-factor authentication method either. Only use the apps. Unless they physically steal your phone and break through your biometrics and break through your password to get in, there's no way that they can log in and hack your funds. Not to say that it can't be done on the back end, but at least on the front end, you protect yourself. So, Ramil, you should actually report that. You should actually report that immediately too. It's good that they left it in there and you're able to, I guess, rebuy, but you should definitely report that. The run is 2024, 2025. I don't necessarily disagree because the next halving event is April of 2024. But leading up to it, we generally see a pretty good recovery. We don't see a high until that halving event comes, right? Then we have a tremendous upside. But leading up to the halving event, we generally see a pretty good recovery from bottom. Okay, so the last halving event back in May of 2020, obviously from low, it was like 3,000. And then when we got to the halving event, it was about, I think, 8,000 around there. So it was a pretty good gain. In 2015, we had a bottom like $100 and something. And the next halving event brought it up to $1,000. So pretty good recovery, right? So if you're looking at the progress towards the next halving event, this could be our low at 16,000, right, or 15,000. And then we have a good recovery until April of 2024. It could be, I don't know, 30,000, 35,000, something like that, 40,000. And then from there, we have a tremendous run past our previous all-time high of 70,000 and beyond. And finally break the 100K next time around. So we have history. We have history on our side for sure. All right. Benjamin Franklin, don't yell, man. Don't yell. And I just already explained it. Can you explain to people that crypto is only stored on a blockchain, is private key is stored on Ledger Exchange? Yes. Daniel, this is 100% true. It's hard for people to really understand that. But just know that all of your crypto is stored on a blockchain. It's out, you know, in the decentralized cloud, basically, if you think about it. It's on a blockchain. And your ledger and wallets basically just gives you access to a private key, which is secure for you, right? Through authentication, through two-factor, through biometrics, through whatever means is available. Basically, it's protecting your private key. But that's why you could also use that recovery phrase to recover your crypto, because basically the device itself is meaningless. It's that recovery phrase. It's the way you access your private key. So that's what essentially what a wallet is. A hardware wallet, cold wallet, hot wallets. Essentially, they're all doing the same thing. All right, guys. So let's conclude overall. Bitcoin is definitely repeating what it did before, and that's not a bad thing. So we got same drawdown, same time frame, right? We have same bad actors like before, but Bitcoin always finds a way and continues forward and continues higher. So stay strong, my friends. And we'll see what happens the rest of this week. There's a lot of economic data. Tune in tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.